Hello, it is July 1st, the first day of the second editing vlogs. Yay! I just uploaded the first one today. Have no idea how well it's gonna go. So, again, I'm trying not to do it for that purpose. This is for me to keep myself accountable, and if anyone else wants to come along, they're welcome too. So, today the editing was nicer. Still not totally sure on my protagonist's personality. I also found out that you can tell how much I've grown and learned since I first wrote this, because in the beginning, in the first part, I had this thought, or wouldn't it be cute if Eddie and her adopted sister like shared one of those big like queen or king size beds, and they could have like nighttime chats and all that kind of stuff. But later on, as my husband and I have been looking into foster care ourselves, we realized that you legally have to have a bunk bed for kids. Like, you can't have any kids fostering sharing beds. So then I had to do all this editing out. So instead of them sharing the bed, Joe climbs down from the top bunk, because I feel like Joe would be top bunk, the adopted sister. So it's a tiny thing, and like, no one who doesn't know more about fostering would probably catch that. But as long as I know that that's not quite realistic, and I want to at least try to portray it as realistically as I can, that's the one weird editing thing. But beyond that, the plot is holding steady. I'm still adding a little bit of words. I don't think I'm going to get to 100,000, but I did get to 91,000 added. Well, not 91,000 added, 1,000 added. But still holding strong, still doing well. Haven't skipped a day, and I am, 6 days in. So here's hoping for a full week without skipping. It is July 2nd, the 7th day of editing. I have officially gone a week without missing a day, and I am so super proud of myself. I got to page 86, and it was a lot of fun. It was the gospel church scene. This is another one that I'm a little bit worried about. It's not something entirely out of my depth. When I was a kid, my dad was a pastor, like I mentioned before, and he actually helped to start an interracial church in what was then a very heavily segregated area of Michigan, which is weird because it's so far north. But something about this town just kind of fostered that level of separation. And it was very heavily black. So I got to look into, for at least like a year and a half of my life, what it's like to go to a gospel church. And I kind of give a nod to one or two things that stuck with me from there. My personal favorite being this very tall, well, I don't know if he was very, very tall. I was like 9, so everyone was tall to me. But this tall man who would always come to the service in like brightly colored suits with matching alligator shoes and like wide brimmed hat, and his wife was always like color coded with him. Now, the one thing I think I'm confident in this, which means I'm probably not, is that gospel churches traditionally, culturally, are mostly black. However, I wanted to make a point of not not describing every character as black when I talk about being in the church, because I want to get away from that idea of default character is white and then you must state if they are not white. That idea of, if I say a man, you think a white man, and I have to, or an author has to state this is a black man for you to understand that it's a black man. Like, we need to, as a general community, need to get away from the idea of default character as white. So I made a very purposeful decision to be like, okay, this is a gospel church. Most people should know that they're majority black in a gospel church, and not say repeatedly, oh, and this person was black, oh, and this person was black. So I hope that comes across. I'm a little bit nervous. And again, I really need to make a point of getting the best sensitivity readers. But beyond that, still holding strong. So I will talk to you again tomorrow. Day 8. I am officially almost a third of the way through the book. I'm at page 96, so we're closing in on that. It was hard today because we had the setup for a huge mistake that the character is going to make, Eddie, and I know it's coming, and it's important for her growth, and it has to happen, but also part of me is screaming, don't do it! It's the hardest part. When you know that something is going to go badly for a character, and you still have to write it out because it's important. So beyond that, it wasn't too much of anything. We're kind of entering the second third, which can get a little bit hard, although there are some big things in this part too that I like. But still going strong. My sister's coming to visit later today, so I'll have my niece over. I don't know if I'll be able to get any editing in tomorrow. I will try, but no promises. Happy 4th of July! I was actually very proud of myself today. It's like 9:30 and I just finished my editing, but like I was spending the entire day going like, well, it's the 4th. I mean, do I really need to edit? But I wasn't really doing anything. Our little mini cookout party was over by like 8. So like I'm like, well, I'll have to update the vlog that I had to skip a day. And that little bit of I'll have to actually say the words aloud that I skipped a day because it was the 4th gave me the incentive to keep going. We're still heading down the protagonist is making a bad decision, and I see it, but I can't stop it. But we've also introduced some new characters that I love, including my super nerd girl, Audrey, who will become a bigger part of the story as it goes on, and I'm really happy about that. I just, really wish I could get past this really bad decision part. But also, I'm officially a third of the way through. I'm at page 106, so yay! All right, doing well. Talk to you next time. It is July 5th, day 10, the final day of this episode of the vlog, and I have reached page 119 in the manuscript. The bad decision has come to fruition. She's feeling horrible about herself. The chapter ends on a really low note, and I'm kind of bummed about it. And I'm trying to hold on to the fact that I know the next chapter begins with an adorable heart-to-heart from an unlikely source, and it was one of my favorite scenes to write. But speaking of writing, not the biggest fan of the writing style in that chapter for some reason. I found myself switching a lot of the wording and stuff around, which I don't usually have to do too much. Usually it's just like, oh, I meant to say this. But in this case, I'm like, no, I meant to say this, but I should not have. And editing things. And I have a really big problem with the ing verbs happening concurrently to things that they could not be happening at. So it's like, she bent down, comma, tying her shoes. That's not how the sentence works. She bent down and tied her shoes. Those concurrent verbs have to be happening at the same time they actually could be happening, if that makes any sense. There's other people who have explained it better, but it's one of my giant writing weaknesses on top of I love adverbs. But you know what? I'm not cutting them all out. I'm going to keep some. But anyway, day 10 is done. I am at page 119, well over 1/3 of the way through. Haven't missed a day yet in 10 days, including a holiday, so I'm feeling super awesome about myself, and I'm going to wrap this vlog up right here. It might be a little bit shortish, but then again, I like shorter vlogs. So thank you so much for coming along for this arm of the race, and I will be getting more out soon as I continue to edit. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.